Hey, Todd Berry from toddberry.com. So, how should you work? Should you work online or offline? I know that people have struggled with that in today's world because there's so many examples of all different kinds of ways to work, and you might be on social media and seeing people promote, hey, if you're not working purely online, then you don't know what you're doing, or if you're not following this magic system, you don't know what you're doing, or if you're not doing this thing, you don't know what you're doing, and then you just got all kinds of noise, right? So I'm going to give you a fishing example, which is one of my favorite ways to teach about how you should work, because the real answer is yes. Yes, you should work any kind of way you want as long as you're willing to do the work, because everything can work. However, there are some fundamentals. So for example, I love to fish. I've been fishing almost 50 years now is how long I've been fishing, right? So I'm kind of dating myself a little bit because I didn't even get near the water until I was 6, right? So I've fished in the ocean, I've fished in lakes, I've fished in rivers, I've fished in ponds, I've fished in bays, I've fished in streams. And the fundamentals for fishing are the same no matter where I'm fishing, right? So if I'm working online or offline or in person or by phone, the fundamentals are the same. So let me take you a little bit further. So for example, first, you got to be others focused. You got to focus on the fish. You got to think like the fish, not the fisherman like the fish. What is the fish interested in? So a lure that I might use in the ocean is not going to work in a stream, right? Because the lure is bigger than the fish in the stream, right? So you got to use the bait that makes sense for what you're doing. In other words, what are your prospects interested in? Doesn't matter which way you're working, whether it's online or offline, you got to be speaking your prospects' language. What do they struggle with? What do they need? What do they want? What do they desire? What are they trying to figure out? What's confusing for them, right? Those are the things that they're trying to solve in their life, right? So you got to use the bait that's appropriate, right? You got to speak their language. Doesn't matter how you're doing it, you got to speak their language. And then you have to have the right tools to speak that language too. So I wouldn't use a stream rod, right, with a really tiny thin line. I wouldn't use that in the bay, right, because there's a lot bigger fish in the bay and they would just blow up the line as soon as they grabbed it, if they grabbed it, right? So you have to use the right tools, the right tackles to fit what you're doing, right? So there may be a little adjustment here and there based on the method that you're using because of interest and the ability to move. Like someone online, for example, watching something online probably shouldn't be nearly as long as a personal presentation. Why? Because if they lose interest, they can be gone in a second. But if you're sitting with someone, right, if you're sitting with that person, you have much longer to communicate. They're not likely to just in the middle of it go, I'm bored, bye. Right? That's not going to happen. So you make sure that your tackle, right, the tools that you're using are appropriate, right, to deliver the message that's suitable for the audience in the environment that you're in, just like you would in fishing. But the truth is, right, if you even boil it down further than that, the behavior is the same and the process is the same, right? The process is always the same. Make a contact, share your story and information, follow up, sponsor and serve them. That's the process, right? That's the process, right, that you're going to use no matter how you are fishing, okay? And your behavior needs to be the same. You need to be nice, you need to be honest, you need to be respectful, not pressuring, no hype, right? You wouldn't go into a pond, right, and there's the fish and you take your lure and you go, take this lure, you need to take this lure, you got to take this lure. You wouldn't do that, right? That's not the proper behavior. And so you got to have the proper behavior and work the process the same, no matter how you are working, right? So I'm not, in my blog, I'm not teaching you the commercial net way, right? So, and there's viability in that. If you are really skilled in using advertising and funnels and all that stuff to like cast a net, right? To cast a net to get more fish in at the same time. Awesome. That's great stuff. But what I teach here is the people part, because no matter how you get the fish to find out about you, whether you're using a net or a fishing pole, right? You still have to connect, right? You still have to connect with that person, right? It's still about relationships, right? It's still about making a human connection. That's where the true long-term is. I'm about teaching the everyday person how to build an income stream for life. That's what I do, right? There are lots of people that are masters at teaching you the commercial fishing side. I'm about teaching you the human side of the way things work, the people part. So you can build any way that you want, but just remember, it's still always about serving people. And so the behavior has to be same, and the process has to be same, and the bait has to be appropriate, and you have to work the tackle in the right way. So I hope that was helpful for you. If you haven't already, please go up and subscribe to my blog and get the 27 phrases that work. They'll be really helpful for you. Feel free to share this with others, and also comment or leave questions if you like, and I will respond. So hey, hope you have a great rest of your day.